Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. I am Afefe with Touch by Tarot, and I wanted to get on here today. First of all, give everybody a reminder about the workshop that I'm offering, the Tarot Workshop, Make It Personal. It's going to be based in part off of my book. Excuse my little stamp there. This was a not for resale preview copy, but it is available on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. The book is not necessary or required for the class, but I think you'd really enjoy it. I want to talk to you all about, I've had a few people send me emails saying, well, I'm interested in taking the workshop, but I'm not really a tarot reader. I'm new at it. I'm not sure how far I would go with it or how often I might use it. And I want to just share with you all a couple of things. Number one, when I read for people, the majority of the people who I do readings for are people who read, many of whom read professionally. And it's an opportunity to just get a perspective from someone else, to have somebody else go to the guides and see what comes through that way. So it's a wonderful way to sort of just do a check-in with someone else. Two heads are better than one sometimes, right? But also for those who are not familiar with tarot, and then you decide that you want to get a reading from, it doesn't have to be with me, with whomever. It does add, I can't tell you, I can't stress this enough. It adds a lot to what you take away from the reading when you have familiarity with the deck, when you understand what these energies are. And so I don't want anyone to feel pressured like, you take this course and you're supposed to come away like, boom, ready to put up your sign and set up a shop somewhere. It's really not about that. My whole idea in naming my book, Make It Personal, is tarot for me is a powerful tool to use in your day-to-day life. It's a way to check in with, what's happened in the past, what it is that you want to check in with yourself about what you're trying to work on at the present time, things that you need to know about your future. It's not just a predictive tool. You don't need to put that pressure on yourself. It's really about, once you understand the energies of the cards, what the archetypes are, what they mean in and of themselves, and then you get familiar with it, so you start to connect like, oh, I get it. When I see the Empress, I'm not just talking about an energy that speaks to abundance and fertility, for instance. But also, I've been looking at my savings. I'm looking at my budget. I'm looking at a vacation that I want to take. I'm looking at my relationship to money. When you begin to personalize tarot, then when you put these cards down on the table with a question that you're asking, how do I manage using the Empress, for example, how do I manage my money, or how do I grow my business? Because the Empress is about that growth and abundance and fertility. How do I grow my business? How do I solidify my relationship? Because the Empress is ruled by Venus. So it may be a love question that you're doing. By and large, think about it, you all, when we go to tarot, there are essential and common life issues that we usually are going for, right? It's our money, it's our health, it's our life purpose, it's our soul's calling, it's greater understanding about our childhood. So many of us, no matter how old we get, we're still processing childhood issues. We're still healing. We're putting things in a different perspective. When you use these cards, so back up a little bit, very often we're told, we use meditative practices, which is beautiful. I'm all into it. I do it daily. A meditative practice puts you into a state of stillness, where you can receive from your guides, from spirit, from God, however you identify the goddess. But it puts you in that space of stillness. It puts you in that space of grounding. It puts you in that space of being able to be more calm and reflective, so that instead of feeling reactionary or agitated, or sometimes we can get anxious about life in general. We are living in some challenging times, right? So when we sit down to meditate, it gives us that framework to get still, right? Tarot gives us something to do. It gives us something tangible that we can work with. It's more of a dialogue versus just an inward process that we go through in meditation. With tarot, it gives us a dialogue with our higher self, with our soul, with our spirit guides, with divine source. So there is an exchange, and you have to get comfortable with your ability. We are mind, body, and spirit, right? Those three things that comprise us as divine beings in having a human experience. So we have to figure out ways to check in with those various aspects of ourselves, right? Our minds can get super busy, super agitated. Our spirits, we rely on spirit for our readings, going to our guides, saying our prayers, keeping our faith strong, and our bodies, that tangible part of us that is responsible for carrying out the things that we see that we need to do in order to improve, in order to heal, in order to address things, in order to be able to feel free to communicate and express ourselves, okay? So in this class, now I want to say this as well, before I forget. I will put a link to the description for the class below and details on that. So check the description box below. I will also put a link to my guide for those of you who may be interested in that. But it's about, this course is really going to focus on helping you get comfortable with the cards. There's 78 cards in a tarot deck, in a standard tarot deck. It's a lot of stuff, and we get caught up in thinking we got to memorize that. And then depending on what kind of combination of those cards comes in a spread when we start working with the cards, then understanding, how do I connect that? If I get the Empress, I used that a moment ago as an example. If I get the Empress with the Devil, or the Empress with a court card, a king or a queen, how do those relate to one another? So those are the types of topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to do spreads. We're going to, actually hands-on do exercises. Because again, whether your ultimate objective is to read regularly or read for others, or if you are a professional reader and you're just wanting to vibe and kind of hone your skills and approach your readings from a different perspective, it all fits. And it gives you another window, another tool, a really valuable tool and resource to be able to answer the questions that you have. Sometimes you don't want to talk to somebody else about it. Sometimes you just want to sit down and try to figure it out yourself. And you need a tool, to sit still, close your eyes and meditate and see what comes. Absolutely. Got to do that. Build that into your practice as well. But to have a tool that you can sit down with and ask yourself, your higher self, your spirit self, or your guides, God, I have this thing that I'm working on, or I have this issue that I really need to address. Please give me that added perspective. And I promise you, it never fails. For those of you who watch my readings on YouTube and you see how the cards come together and that narrative builds, Spirit never misses. Sometimes we have to sit with the message afterward and go, well, wait a minute, how does that apply? I can't tell you how often I get emails from people later on saying, at the time you said that, I wasn't quite sure that it applied, and then this happened or that happened, and I remembered, the reading, and it was like, oh, that's what it was about, So much of what we do spiritually, we want that blueprint, like goodness knows. If I had a way, you all, to be able to just, pop it out and print it out and say, here's what's about to happen. Get ready for this. Here's what you need to pack in your spiritual suitcase to be ready for it. Like, man, wouldn't that make things easier? But it would also kind of take away some of the adventures, some of the opportunities that we have to grow, to discover. Think about that. To me, one of the most wonderful things about walking a spiritual path is that sense of discovery, that sense of adventure, that sense of, wow, I never knew this. And then having had knowledge, discovering things about yourself. Oh, I am empathic, or I am clairvoyant, or guess what? I actually kind of am starting to understand tarot. I can read the cards, never thought I could, but I can. I started with tarot in my 30s, mid 30s. I didn't launch my YouTube channel, you all, until I was about to turn 60. All right. So there's a process. Tarot became a part of my life, and it went from something that I was treating very casually, running to the cards only when I had a problem, something like that, to understanding that it really is a part of, it's almost like a fitness, but it's about spiritual fitness, spiritual hygiene. It's a way to really be able to check in with yourself, ground yourself, motivate yourself, get clarity, healing, and understand that everything changes. That's another thing I can't stress enough with tarot. Sometimes when you get a reading, especially if the cards are challenging, you can get that Ten of Swords, which none of us likes to see. You can get the Devil, which sometimes scares people. That is not meant to hang us up or make us shy away from a situation, and it's not meant to scare us. It's meant to give us a window into what that challenge is, and then you always have the opportunity with tarot to say, okay, now that I see this, what do I do about it? How do I clear that energy? How do I adjust it? What do I do? You got 70, that's when that 78 cards comes in handy, because then you've got cards that you can pull as clarifiers. If you've worked with me, you know I'm big on clarifiers, meaning if you pull a card and you're not sure what that means or what you're supposed to do with it, you go, you shuffle, and you pull another one on it, and you ask Spirit, why am I seeing this? What should I do about it? What are you telling me about it? There are no limits. Another thing, there are no limits at all. And understanding that energy is always changeable, you all. And it depends on what we do about it. If you do a reading for yourself and you can see clearly, Spirit is giving you a message. You pull a card and you understand, okay, this is why I got the Magician, or this is why I got the Devil. I've got some habits that I need to break. I've got some relationship issues. Maybe I'm hanging around with toxic people, things that the Devil can indicate. But once you make those adjustments, then you have, you go back to Spirit, you go back to the cards, and then you may pull the Sun, which says, aha, eureka, success. The energy has changed. Maybe you pull the Strength card, which says, you have persevered. Perseverance is a big part of the Strength card, ruled by Leo, open-hearted, lion-hearted. So you've done the work that you needed to do. You see what I mean? So as you progress with tarot, then the narrative begins to change as you do readings. You could do one this week. 2 weeks from now, start to see that shift a little bit as you take actions. 6 months from now, see an entirely different energy start to arise. It is a beautiful, beautiful energy and method and tool that evolves, and it goes with you as you go. All right. So again, would love to see you in the class. Would love to have you. The classes, you'll get all the information in the description box below. I'll do a link to my blog post describing it. By the way, for those of you who have already registered, make sure the payment is via PayPal, but make sure that you either put your email address in that PayPal, and when you make that PayPal payment, or you email me at touchedbytarot@gmail.com. Okay, all together, one word, no hyphens or anything. touchedbytarot@gmail.com. Email me so I can make sure I have your email in order to be able to contact you. The way this class is going to go, part of it is you're going to get 3 private videos. They won't be made public. So I need to be able to give you the link to those videos. I got to have your email address. All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention is I'm taping this on Saturday, what is today? The 18th. Registration was going to close on the 20th. The first class starts on December 2nd. It's going to be 3 consecutive Saturdays in December. So December 2nd, 9th, and 16th. And then it's going to pick back up after the holidays. I think January 6th or something like that. You'll see in the link. But I've had so many people, traveling, different things going on, saying, I want to register. Just give me a hot minute. So I've decided to keep registration open until after Thanksgiving. So a week from today would be the 27th. So I'm going to keep registration open until November 27th. Okay. Classes will still start on the 2nd, and the links to the 3 videos you will still get prior to the 2nd. I'll get them to you at least 3 to 4 days in advance, so that, because we're not going to cover all 3 videos, so you're going to take them one at a time. That first 3 Saturdays in December is going to cover each of those 3 videos. All right. So I may even send them just one at a time to you, so you don't get overwhelmed. All right. But you will definitely get the videos at least 3 to 4 days before December 2nd, before we have that first session. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you join me. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be empowering. It's going to be, hopefully for many of us, whether you're experienced or new or just curious, It's going to be a window to, establishing a way to take back your power, to feel clear, to feel like, you know what, I can do this. I have another resource. We shouldn't cut ourselves short on any resources available to us in this day and age. All right. Okay. That's it. I'm also going to go ahead and do a quick pull for you all for the week ahead, the energies of the week ahead, to see what Spirit says that you can expect. And this is general for all of us. It's not a pick a card. It's going to be just a general reading. I wanted to keep this pretty short. All right, so Spirit, what should we anticipate? What energy should we, anticipate and be aware of in the coming week? The week that starts on Monday, November 20th. Or actually, Sunday the 19th, right? Start of the week. All right, we have the King of Swords. Put our thinking caps on. And the Queen of Cups. Interesting. Okay, I love this. And I love this combination, actually, because we have a king and a queen. So we're thinking about divine masculine energy, or not even divine, just regular everyday human energy, masculine, male, and this is not gender specific. This is energy, how you identify with male energy. And this King of Swords, it has a lot to do with the ability to take ownership for your decisions, take ownership and speak authoritatively. Think sharply. It's not making excuses for your voice, for how you show up, for how you choose to express yourself. And if this represents very often court cards, and we'll get into this in the class, in the workshop, very often court cards do represent ourselves or people around us. So for many of you, this week could have to do with someone who exudes a masculine, authoritative energy in the workplace, someone who you have to communicate with, or who is going to communicate with you decisively. And it came with that Queen of Cups. So in combination, this could be you or someone around you this week, people around you this week. But how do those two things work together? One is decisive, can sometimes be a little abrupt, can be a little, I said it, you heard me, I shouldn't have to repeat myself sort of thing, right? And also offering clarity, offering that, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Thank you for telling me that. It can be a very helpful energy. Coming with the Queen of Cups, though, is that warm. We're still in Scorpio season. We're edging out of it a little bit, but for those of you who have Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, this could also, have to do with that, or a lot of water in your charts. But this energy combined with this king says this week, as this authoritative, expressive energy is out there, there is also loving, gentle, compassionate, nurturing energy out there. So when we're talking about combining cards, perhaps there is a way to communicate authoritatively or accept that person around you who tends to do that, but to be able to soften it up, there's a way to be generous in the offering of how the communication is done, how the decisions are made, to do it in a way that makes people feel taken care of and nurtured and comforted, not being abrasive, not being argumentative, but being more persuasive, they said that old saying, you kill more flies with honey, right? Although we ain't trying to kill nothing, but you get my drift. When energies like this come together, you have to think, okay, I know that when this comes, it can be razor sharp. And sometimes razor sharp is exactly what we need. We don't want to waffle. We want clarity. We want decisiveness. We want the ability to take action, but we also want that action to be supportive, to be nurturing, to make us feel like it's not backing us into a corner, but it's helping us go with the flow and get where we need to go. All right, you all? I hope that clicks. I wish you the absolute best in the week ahead. Again, check the description box below for the details on the workshop and the link to the guide, the tarot guide, my guide on Amazon. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and have a wonderful week and a wonderful holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, however you celebrate and whoever you celebrate with, okay? Take good care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.